When you are hot, when you are like, I want to do it, anything comes, you become vulnerable in any absorbing everything.
Came up from the bottom to the top. Henny on his gun and never stop. And he always punching in the clock.
Yeah, man.
Like, to get me here to share my story. I can guarantee you, for sure, I can guarantee you, 3 years ago, most of you were doing 1,000% very well financially, physically, mentally than me. Just giving you, I'm gonna throw some bombs here in terms of reality, not anything scripted, because theory is over. I'm 34 years old, and I got 2 comma in my back right here. I still wear $10 shirts. Uh, just the down inch reality is, I have more money in last 2 years than I actually did before that. And the reason being is I had to really talk to myself on what the fuck am I doing with my life here? Because I've been running after money, and all the shortcuts I could accumulate from Instagram, from Facebook, from YouTube, I was in it. The only good thing happened from there is I bought Bitcoin and Ethereum back in 2017 for peanuts. The only good thing came in. Now, I'm not gonna go over there at all, because that's something which now I'm against what I do, because I do want to share the story here, what exactly happened with after I did that. I came to this country in 2009, no generation wealth, no US citizenship, no, I was on visa. I came here as a student. To give you more perspective, I came from New Delhi, and my father sold the last property which he had because he was too naive to build a business. So everything he made just got sold. We had 3 brothers and sisters. I'm the eldest, and there's mom and dad. My younger brother took a route, dropped out of high school, went ahead, showed the balls, and built a huge business, right? And he is truly, in my opinion, he's my hero. Self-made completely. My younger sister took the academic route, did her MBA, well settled. She's making a good living in Mumbai. And I came here in 2009 because, to be honest, I figured out I'm not gonna make more than $400 to $500 in India, and just be another statistic. That's all I could figure it out. And I told that, hey, how much money do you have for me to get to United States? That's all I need to know, because the rest I can figure it out. Mom said, okay, this is what I got. This is the last piece of jewelry. Take it, roll with it. All right, cool. They allowed me to do whatever I want. That was the beauty about my family, right? We didn't have much, so we didn't miss much. So that was also the beauty about growing up for me. When I came here in 2009, I already had an engineering degree, mechanical engineer, top of the class. And then I came here after 3.5 years. I figured out I don't want to be an engineer. So I felt in the middle of the class, barely graduated. I graduated in 3.5 years with about $20,000 in debt. And that time I joined the business Amway, because somebody showed me that, you could be free in 2 to 5 years. I said, okay, great. Sign me up. I don't even know the technicality behind anything what Amway did. I just signed up because why? When you are hot, when you are like, I want to do it, anything comes, you become vulnerable in any absorbing everything. So I was 23 years old, went on and built a team of 40, 45 people. There I figured out that not necessarily I am a business owner, but I am a leader. I know how to build things. I know how to build people, and people build things. Coming out of Amway, no money, by the way. I didn't make money. I was living in California, in Irvine, Orange County, drove a C-Class Mercedes, had a good job, 100. In my career, I never made less than 100K every year, just to let you know. The moment I graduated, I never made less than 100K, except for 2 years, which were the deciders for everything what came together today. And then, my visa was expiring. You have to get into work visa. I couldn't get into work visa. I was so depressed that I don't want to go back. I put in so much effort already. Now it's time, 2014. my visa is not going. And, one of the guys, my downline, he was from Afghanistan. Look at the balls of this guy. He joined the US Army, right? And he was similar situation as me. And he called me from Dallas. I used to live in LA. He called me from Dallas, that his name is Zabi. He called me that, hey, MJ, can you pick me up from, I'm flying down to Bay Area. Can you please pick me up to drop me from the airport to Stockton, California? And I'm like, so you want me to drive 6 hours from here to airport in Bay Area and drop you to Stockton? Okay, I'll do it. I did it. And in that time, he told me he joined US military. And, and that, again, I joined Amway, and the desperation got me to join US military. And it was a very small window, 1 year of window. 1 year of window, more than 120,000 applicants, only 5,000 can get in. I was one of them. It's the silver lining. If I wouldn't have dropped him those 6 hours, I don't know, maybe I would have researched it. I wouldn't, that's not the part of the story. So why even talk about it? But here it is that, I got into it. I got it. That I got into US military, top of the class again, could translate. They shut down the program, by the way, in 2015. After I joined, 6 months after, they shut down because too many people. I got my US citizenship in 2016, and that's where I felt invincible. I am like, all right, I started traveling, California, Boston, Charlotte, Dominican Republic, Europe, all of that. And I never made less than 100K. In 2016, I felt like I can be anything, anywhere here. By the way, in 2015, whatever money I made, the last piece of money which my mom and dad came up with, they sold the property. I gave them the property back. So that was it. Whatever money I saved, right? In 2016, I joined US Army Reserve. I was in reserves only. I moved to Boston. And then I started running more after opportunities. I joined Amazon FBA, started another business. I was just whatever comes my way. I quit my job, and also I was driving Uber. 2016, 2017, I was doing these experiments, right? These are the 2 years where I actually my income dropped drastically. I was doing Airbnb, doing Uber, and somehow I figured out that I am becoming a lot more anxious and depressed. And that's where, I spoke to myself that, okay, what am I doing here with quitting my job? And at least I had decent income coming in, and I could have taken more risk with that. All the flashiness got me. To be honest. That was me. I was trying to reach somebody else's success in less than a month or two, which people took 5, 10, 15 years and their talent. First of all, I was trying to take a shortcut, and that was where I was failing. The only good thing happened is I bought crypto, and I sold off crypto in 2021 May or something. Like, this is the year I sold off crypto, and there's a huge good story about all of that. In 2017, I came across an influencer who is ultra rich. Like, his story is also mentioned in the ultra rich of India, right? The ultra rich kids of India. So I'm not going to name him. CoffeeZilla actually made CoffeeZilla on YouTube. He made a video about that guy. I got in contact with him because I want to link with him. Again, going into it, I was still questioning, what am I doing? But it was so vulnerable that I wanted to link up with, I wanted to succeed so bad, because the only reason I wanted to succeed so bad is I was chasing external validation, so much of it that it came to the point where I would just buy $1,000 something just to show off something. And that's, again, I'm telling you, 3 years ago, you would meet me and you would tell me, I would look like a fancy person in front of you, also come across as an asshole. But I will tell you, I was broke inside, very broke inside. And in 2018, the best thing happened for me was I got married to the totally opposite person than me, who could build a home out of a house, out of bricks, internally, I'm talking about. In 2018, I was in negative 26K debt. I joined Danlog's $2,500 program. But at that time, I slowed down. I got a good job. I went back to working 9 to 5, and I slowed down. And I thought that I'm not gonna run after money, because what happened between 2017 and 2018 was it just took my soul away. I was promised, I became the CEO of one of the growing companies in Switzerland, and overnight the whole company disappeared because it was a scam. And I didn't know. I was bouncing off between US and India and Dominican Republic, and the whole company just disappeared. And I was promised such a good package, everything like a CEO, and I know how to build people. I know how to build companies. But again, I couldn't read the people. The people were just vapor. They took their money and left. And I got left with my negative 26,000. So I had to really talk to myself. That was July of 2018. Truly broke. I think those were the times where I always remember to ground myself. I got married, and my responsibility increased, and I took it really seriously. It was an arranged marriage, totally opposite to, again, how I lived in the United States. My parents found her, and she is completely the opposite person I am. 2018, I got into Dan Locke's program. 8 weeks. 8 weeks. There were about 3,000 students in that group. By the time I graduated, there were 6,000. Funny enough, I was hovering in that group. I'm the only one with the 2 Comma Club Award. In 2018, I dropped everything what I had, talked to myself. First of all, paid off my debt of negative 26K in 7 months, period. No more, like, I don't want to live in debt. What I found is my first opportunity was with Kevin David. My first paycheck with Kevin David was $239. I was the only person who was being made joke of having an accent, because they would get Indian people who would have Indian accent, like, they will talk funny and they will shake their head and whatnot. And I would get made fun of. That's okay. That's part of the team. I sucked it up. Something amazing happened from there is the person whom actually, before I joined Dan Locke, I did a whole lot of research that whom I'm gonna, is there any local person whom I can trust, I can meet in person and, understand what the program is about. And I just asked a simple question: can I pick up your brain? Can I take you to lunch? And she said yes. And she gave me, she graduated 2 seasons before, and I was in season 7. I joined that, and in December I graduated, and I had the opportunity lined up, because the only thing I focused on finding the opportunity. 2-3 months into being with Kevin David, I figured out that this is not the environment I want to be part of, because this is leading me to the same environment which I was the part of. Again, silver linings from the learnings which I don't need to do. So that was an immediate understanding of what I don't. And that person whom I took lunch on, she was going through some heavy stuff in her own personal life. She said, can I introduce you to a closing opportunity? I said, sure. And this guy from California, with Chad, is gonna interview him in November. He said, I told him simply, I don't need anything from you. I paid off my debt. I have a good 9 to 5. I'm doing it for the sake of understanding how I can help you and how does this whole thing work. And, I might, if I don't make you money, fire me. So he had a team of 5 people who were like, there's like the Dan Locke program had $2,500, then $2,000 every month, and then $25,000 something. The $25,000 folks were part of his team, like they were closing for him. And they would not do the dirty work. They would be only after high ticket. They would not do the dirty work. They would, all this learning of being an engineer, being in Army came together there, or building the business came together there. Hey man, by the way, his name is Sam. I'm gonna help you build a team without focusing on money. In fact, I'm gonna pay out of pocket if I have to. The reason why I trusted that guy and why I wanted, because there were two alignments between him and I. One, we both were long-term it is, because short-term, I saw where it led me. I was sitting on a therapy in 2018, December, one-on-one, crying in front of a therapist. That's what it gave me 8 years. It gave me a lot of achievement, but inside it broke me. So I knew what are the things I don't need to. Now I'm not talented, man. Like, I'm also not. If you think engineers are talented, let me introduce you to the group of my friends whom I grew up with, who works in Amazon, Google, and Coinbase, big companies, and they I call genius. They're making at least more than $500,000 in their jobs. They're in their early 30s, like myself. I'm the guy with no talent. But I'm the guy who doesn't give up and who has a knack of understanding how people work. That I had, but I somewhere, in my own greed, I lost it. I lost it by going into opportunities. In when you're young, you have more ways. You feel invincible. You can take more risks, and that's how I was. So in 2019, I joined this guy, Sam, and 2019 March, we kick off. I said, I'm not gonna take any money from you. Let me produce results. 2019, out of 76 people, I found 4 people. None of them were from United States. So you have a major advantage if you were born here. Giving you the hardcore reality. One of the guys couldn't even speak in English properly, and he invested $3,000 in that course. Why the fuck did you do that for? For what? You should have invested in learning how to speak in English. Why did you do that? But I trusted him. He told me, you gave me the opportunity. I'm going to give everything to you. And again, one common alignment I had was long-term. If you are in it with me when things are bad, I'm going to make sure that you are in it with me when things are great. In 2019, we started building a team. 3 months, I didn't do anything, just helped Sam building his business, setting up the team, global team. By the time we were in 2020 January, we had a team of 20 plus closers globally and 3 businesses rolling in. Now there were more businesses coming to me to want my closing services because I never thought about building a closing business, by the way, than I could ever imagine. Now they started pouring in. And in 2020, I had more business than I could take. We were heading towards the 2 Comma Club. I already knew. In 2020 December and in 2021 January, we had 2 businesses cross $2 million. We were on our way to $3 million. And I had a team of 30 plus people. Again, in 2020, something with slow, and I created my own program. I was the guy who would not only teach people closing, but I would not leave them until they find the opportunity, because that's the only thing matters when you are in this business. That's what's gonna get you revenue. Your scripts, your handling objections, your everything, you can throw it in the trash if you don't find the client. That's it, period. So, and I told those people who were joining me, if you are gonna pay me, let's say $1,000, the first $1,000 you make is pay off that credit card or pay off whatever the money which you made. Because if you end up buying a $1,000 product, spending it, then you and me are not in alignment, and I don't think we should work together. That's because truly my goal was to, after 7, 8, 10 years, I figured out that I don't want people to think that, to be away from the reality. It's good to have the vision, it's good to have the goals and all that, but if you are away from the reality, then it's going to bite you back, like it did for me. I was in negative 26K debt because I trusted somebody who was showing me something on Instagram, and I bought into it, and I landed up in negative 26K with a lot of anxiety, being sitting at therapist and crying myself out. In 2020 summer, I had one more setback, which was my relationship with my wife, because I thought everything is okay, but in a new marriage, my time was being vested into my job and my closing. And that's where I shut it down, everything. Like, all right, I let go few clients, I let go of my program. I don't want money. I already made the money. In 2020, by the way, my net worth increased from negative 26K to more than 400K. And again, that money is making money. I do not touch that money. It's all invested into Vanguard funds called V5X and VGT. Pretty simple. Simple. I'm a simple guy with doing simple things. That's what I believe in. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, because my happiness is being around people and eating together, traveling when I can. Like, out of $400,000, it was a no brainer. I took my wife immediately to a $9,000 trip in Cancun, because that was the safest and the number one resort in Mexico was LeBlanc, and I took her. It was $1,000 a night. And I didn't have to think that time, because money was not an issue for me anymore. It was, if you have money problems, then money will only solve money problems. Money is not going to solve a broken heart problem. Money is not going to solve a broken mind problem. Being poor will also not solve any of this. Just remember that. So my reality is my biggest experience in what I don't need to do and what I need to do long term. So I need to choose my heart, and that's something which I want to give it to you guys today, which I drew up here on my board. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can go over. I need to choose my heart if I need. So I had to do a lot of soul searching. I let go of a lot of things. I let go of the extra money which was making me rich, because I knew if my household is not right, if I am not mentally there, no matter what it comes out, it's going to fall apart. And that has happened in the past. And I do not want to do it again and again. This has been a repetition of my life, and it needs to stop right now. And that's where I felt that, this is it for me, man. My happiness, my health, and my money making. These are the three things I need to focus on. Then the first thing needs to be my happiness. And that comes from being around my wife, doing simple things. Period. Glad that me and my wife, we do simple things only, because the other things, they add complications, unnecessary complications. So simple things are going out to eat, being around friends, playing board games. I will find time. The more happy I became, the more content, the more fulfilled I became, the more clearer I became, and the more money actually started to flow in, right? In 2020, I asked my wife this question, just before the crypto boom, what should I do with this crypto? I think I don't now at this point, I wanted to be very clear. I know how to make money. I have a good job. I still have a good job. I'm not gonna quit. People don't have bad jobs. People have bad bosses. People have bad bosses. They don't leave the company. They leave the bad bosses. That's my experience. So I do have a good job. I will continue to give my 100% to it until I feel that, okay, this is my time. Because in the past, I have done that where I've quit my job and I've ended up driving Uber, and at midnight, driving on a Saturday night, somebody is joking around with me in the back. Hey, I got a knife with me. Would you like me to test it on you while I'm driving Uber? I don't want to be in that spot anymore again in my life, right? So I want to create irreversible systems in my life, which can get me irrespective whatever happens in my life. Today, I own a good property in Atlanta. I invested in Mexico. I also am planning to buy another property here so I can go into a bigger space. I can have my own room. Right now, it's a 2-bedroom condo. I drive a Volkswagen Jetta 2020, all lease, because I hate loans. I'm in zero debt. But the most beautiful part of it is I'm happy at all times. I'm happy at all times. I still have the foreclosers whom I hired in the beginning. They're the ones working for me after 3 years. Why? Because long term is where it's at. The short term is your strategies, the tactics. The long term is where you're going to make more money. Now, if short term is not working out and if you quit, you're out of the game. You're no more in the game. It's the long term which you have to solve problems for. And the short term is your strategies on daily basis, what you do. Okay, this is not working out. All right, cool. Let me find something else. These are the strategies and tactics in the everyday basis, but in the long term is where it's at. All right. And the good thing happened with me is I stopped taking decisions which I do not agree with, which I do not believe in. And I started following and taking advice from people who have done it, whether it's a relationship, whether it's building business, whether it's investing into the right spots. Now with investing, I came to a point that I have money where I can buy a Ferrari, but that would have been true 4 years ago. I'm glad that didn't came out 4 years ago, because today I've been broke. So sometimes when what you want, it's good that you do not get it at that time, because you may not be in a position to absorb it and keep it. It's easy to make money in this country. Let me tell you, my first job was an usher making $5.75 in North Dakota, Fargo. I used to wake up at 6 in the morning and the bus will pick up to drop me to usher. My rent was $108 and I would make $476 in a month, which will cover everything for me. In this country, money making is the most easiest thing. And in this country, keeping the money is the hardest thing. Nobody likes to keep the money. They like to maintain themselves. And I saw, man, I am winning right now. Why? Because I know people are up to something which they do not want. They will regret later. And it's not my business. What my business is to maintain myself, is to make sure my mind is right and clear at all times. My relationship with my wife is the number one thing, which is right there. The number two is I'm taking care of my people around. And number three is I'm doing things which makes me happy, like playing pickup games, staying myself healthy. Why? Because what am I gonna do with all that money if I'm not healthy? A heart attack and I'm done. No, I don't want that. Stay away from drugs, stay away from smoking, stay away from all of that. That's, by the way, I was a regular smoker. That's why I'm saying it. Right? So these are the things which I learned during my journey here. And I still feel that those things are great. And they led me to tell me what things I shouldn't be doing. So I have a decision on choosing my heart here. Can everyone see my screen? I don't know if you can. Is there anyone who has one income stream in the household? Do you think, Pedro, is it hard? So Pedro agrees with my mindset as well. It's hard.
Very hard.
Brandon
yes,
also agrees.
Hard.
Maria also agrees. Okay, great. Work for someone else until 70. Do you think that would be hard? It's not happened yet, but do you think that will be hard or no? Okay, all right. So you agree as well. Maria also agrees. Nicholas also agrees. Anyone here who thinks investing 50% of your income, 30 to 50% of your income is also hard? So it is hard. It is hard. Okay. Work on a valuable skill, hustle after 9 to 5 for next 3 to 5 years. Do you think that's hard as well? Okay, so that's a plan, but Armando says yes. My point here is not to say nothing is wrong over there or right over there. I'm saying that if you ask somebody around yourself, everything is hard, what they are doing, right? You need to choose your heart and shut everything else, because that's none of your business. And that's exactly what I did in 2020. Now my net worth has crossed 600K. And look, you don't want to hear, this is what I revealed about myself. And let me know if that's true. Let me know on the chat. I figured out after making 600K, I don't even want to spend my 100K. And when I didn't have, I wanted to spend like a millionaire. I wanted to spend like a millionaire. I wanted to have that, that private jets, the $3,000 rides on private jets. I wanted to buy Gucci. I wanted to buy Chanel. I wanted to buy whatever I could think of, which was Instagram was showing me. But once I started accumulating the money, I figured out that I don't want to do that, because if I buy a Ferrari today, I'm going to be I will only be left with $200,000. That $400,000 just wiped away. For what? Now, that's my mindset. It may not be true for you. Again, it may not be true for you. And there is nothing right and wrong. I am solely telling you from my own experience is I want to sleep peacefully at night. My goal is to sleep peacefully at night. My goal is not what Jonas tells me about how I live. That's none of my business. And that's my biggest reveal for myself after failing 10, 12 years into it. I'm an immigrant, man. I didn't think I had much to lose. There was no generational wealth. There was no family, right? And being at the bottom, I had the major advantage. I still have the major advantage over anybody else trying to not do it. right? So now I'm getting into the deal that, okay, now the business is stable. The agency is running really good. I have the great client. All the money is being paid first to the closers. They are, first thing I ask every of my closer, are you good? Is your family good? Right? Because that will tell me that they're gonna put their 100%. If something is going at the back of their mind, they're not gonna do it. Nobody's, right? If somebody's going through a divorce and you ask them to take closing calls every day, there is one perspective, oh, it's gonna give them it's gonna distract you. It's a good distraction. Yes and no. I don't know. I don't need to think about it. I'm just saying that if people are 100%, they usually give 100%. And my goal is to make sure 1% at a time, I can help them create a better financial future, not just a skill, not just, I mean, I'm at this point, I'm so tired that I don't even entertain the thought of splurging into something. Some people have a course high. They buy courses and they think that they're going to make it $100,000 million. No. If you think you are the person who's going to quit 9 to 5 and make a genius out of this, then one, I will buy into it only if you did your research and have a plan for at least 2 years, and also show me that how are you going to give your 100% into the business without having the distractions in your life, right? Because what I learned is building a business is not 9 to 5, it's 9 to 9. Building a business is more investment of money and time than actually not building the business. Building a business is dealing with conflicts. Anybody can quit overnight. What are you going to do? All right. So building a business is a lot harder. It's actually harder than the boot camp. The boot camp I went for military. So my story here is actually starting with me having to do everything from a very fulfilled, happy place, anything which I do. And I take decision rationally, not just emotionally. I'm going to replace the word rationally, maybe more reasonably, because reasonably helps me smile more. Rationally just helps me think more. I don't like that.
I'll throw one at you. So with
What's up,
you
Brandon?
being, so with what you stated there toward the end, with starting a business is not a 9 to 5, it's 9 to 9. So knowing that with you starting a business 9 to 9, it's consuming so much of your time in your life. How do you do that while still maintaining going to bed at night and having peace, knowing that this is consuming so much of your life?
Good question. In 2020, that's what was happening, to the point where I had a breakdown. And what I decided, Brandon, is I'm going to outsource a lot of things. And what was happening is, before I was making all the money in the business, I was just investing it into not back into the business, but investing into different things. What I started doing is I started hiring people. Like, I have a personal VA who works for me full time now. That's number one. They're going to do all the things which I don't want to do. Now, my new currency became time. I'm working 9 to 9 in a way where I'm very productive. I essentially bought 4 to 6 hours of my time every day just by employing people. So all the money which I'm making in the business is going into the business, increasing it, growing it. And that's where my skill set of building a team came in as well. So now, if I were to be doing the same thing, I would not survive. You're absolutely right. Outsourcing helped me. Hiring people helped me. And that's where my solution came in.
I've worked a job before where I would work consistently, would be working 80 to 100 hours a week. And yeah, I made good money during that time. But being married, I was at, me and my wife were suffering because we were never together. And, we made up our minds several years ago that, I was never going to do that again. We had to figure out another way besides just me, working 100 hours a week and us never seeing each other.
The more money is going to make you more money. The 600K is making me more money than I could actually make in a job. Just to give you a personal experience. I'm not going to reveal the numbers, but it's pretty good for me. For me, it's pretty good. also, if I were to go into another opportunity today, there is a trade-off. And a lot of times I have ignored that trade-off. I pay attention to what is my trade-off. Like 2 days ago, a friend of mine called me he lives in LA. Hey, this software product is launching and they need a team of closers right away. My time, if I put into it, I can build you a team one time and just leave. That's my fee. But month after month, I'm not going to do it for you anymore. I'm not going to do it for this one, because my trade-off is taking away the time which I play volleyball for. And I play volleyball, my mind is clear. I put more input into building my own business.
I am working from home, but it's like, I'm like scraping by. So I'm trying to like adjust everything. I was wondering what your morning routine's like, and like, what do you do when you kind of feel like you're getting thrown off your motivation and stuff?
Can you see that corner by the chair?
Yeah.
Okay. Every day I wake up in the other bedroom, come over here to meditate for 10 to 20 minutes. I invested in learning the meditation and I keep it every day. That's my morning routine, no matter what. Why? Meditation doesn't do a magic. It just helps me clear my mind more and think better. So that's my morning routine, right? I start off with work, 9 to 5. I work for a very, very wonderful company, very wonderful boss who lets me do what I want without hurting anybody, crossing the toes. Now, if I were to be in your situation where I'm in a place where I quit drinking, there are friends whom I do not want to connect with because I will go back in that direction. I would, and that's a really great place to be. In my opinion, this is your family. This is your community which you are connected with, right? I'm gonna say something which isn't from my experience. It may not imply to you, but it has worked out very well for me. My currency is time and peace of mind, Rochelle. My currency is not money anymore. So I look for ideas. I would go out and work out. That's one. Play some pickup games. I like being athletic. Number 2 is connect with these people. Actually,
I need to do that.
The easier way to do things and sometimes I would avoid people who are in the same line of business as me, not just closing, but same. Why? Because again, it's occupying my brain cells. I don't need to be connected with them all the time, right? What I like to do is I like to keep myself happy at all times, no matter what. If anything I want to be known for is the guy who is very happy, who has a smile at all times. So that's the kind of aspiration I have. I'm not passing it on to you. It may not apply to you, but my past experience has told me that it's better to be broke and happy, but not be broke and not be filthy rich or broke and be mentally be mentally down, because mentally down has its own consequences.
Like when you meditate, that's like the first thing you like wake up, because I have a problem with like picking up my phone and stuff. So you just go straight to meditation and just nothing.
Straight to it, because again, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for anything which can help me stay all the time, stay like this, because the moment I go like this, it affects people around me.